Hey, Steelers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to today's Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumor video. Before we get started, though, plenty of stuff going on, including the Deshaun Watson trade stuff, which has been linked, apparently, maybe a little bit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Be sure to go ahead and use the hashtag Steelers down below in this video to get your mailbag question asked and then answered on a future mailbag video coming up this weekend. As we always do, just starting on the channel, every single probably Friday or Saturday, we're going to take your guys' mailbag questions on this video using the hashtag Steelers down below in the comment section, pull them, and then we'll put them up on the screen and answer as many as we can in a future video. The kicker, though, is you have to cast a question below, but also be a subscriber to the channel. Just hit 3,000 subs, which is great. I appreciate you guys, but go down below, use the hashtag Steelers, ask your question, and be subscribed as well to get in on our mailbag video. I jump into the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumors here on a Tuesday, and we couldn't start the show without talking about the Deshaun Watson drama that is currently unfolding at Texans training camp. So as you know, the Texans are having Deshaun Watson report to training camp despite the ongoing legal issues off the field because he's trying to avoid the $50,000 a day holdout penalty as part of the new CBA. That, paired with the fact that that the Texans, according to reports, are shopping Deshaun Watson, have led to plenty of speculation you've probably seen on Twitter and on ESPN about where possibly Deshaun Watson could go, if anywhere, in the future if he's actually cleared to go ahead and play football. Right now he is technically, but the off-the-field legal issues are going to probably put a damper on that, at least from a league perspective, which we'll, of course, wait and see what happens with that. Now, the Steelers have been listed as a possible landing spot, most notably due to the fact that there, a lot of uncertainty in terms of Big Ben in his 2022 season, right? Are we just going to let Big Ben retire? Will he retire? Could he come back? Is Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins the answer? Those are questions that we don't know the answer to yet, and so naturally, when a star quarterback like Watson is presented, people start creating mock trades that show what it would take to get Deshaun Watson according to reports. So there's a mock trade by the Steelers Wire, which, again, fills the holes that were put out there yesterday about, the Texans want 3 first-round draft picks and a good players to get Deshaun Watson. So it's ridiculous how much they want, and it's even more ridiculous when you actually see what a mock trade could look like. Like, this is insane, and I would never do this, but here is the mock trade. So the Steelers will get Deshaun Watson. The Texans would get our first next year, our second next year, our first in 2023, our second in 2023, and a second in 2024. Oh yeah, and Deontay Johnson and TJ Watt. Like, are you kidding me? Take TJ Watt out of that, and it still is a ton to go ahead and give up for Deshaun Watson. I mean, if you had to put TJ Watt in this, I would never even come close to considering it. I don't care if he's cleared of all charges. I would not give this trade away for Deshaun Watson. I would grade this like an F. I would never do this. What do you guys think? Would you even consider this trade? Like, grade this trade right now if the Steelers actually were to do this, which, again, is not going to happen. It's a mock trade. But grade the trade down below, A, B, C, D, or F. I am way down there. I'm at like a... Man, is there a grade lower than an F? Because I would not trade away TJ Watt, but give me your thoughts down below. Here's the deal. I wouldn't touch Deshaun Watson. Like, I would not touch Watson for a bevy of reasons. One, the off-the-field legal issues make him literally untradeable right now. There's no team that's going to trade for him with 22, 23 ongoing active sexual assault civil lawsuits. Like, that is a whole different thing. Plus, what people are forgetting, the NFL has to also make a ruling. They've been doing an internal investigation for a long time. They have to say, one, Deshaun Watson is cleared and good to go to play, or Deshaun Watson is suspended for 4 games, or Deshaun Watson is suspended indefinitely until we know more. Like, they have to make a decision. There's zero guarantee Deshaun Watson is going to play another down in the National Football League. I know he reported at camp today, but the idea that Watson is just going to, let us all go behind him and just immediately start playing, I think is far-fetched. If that happens and, legally it all works out, then great, come back to the football field and, figure out what team you're going to play for. But until that happens, I would not touch Deshaun Watson, and I definitely wouldn't do it for the price that is reportedly out there in the mock trade that we showed you guys there. I'd much rather either bring Big Ben back for another year, figure out if Rudolph or Haskins is good, or option number 3 is just drafting a quarterback in 2022, which very few people actually go ahead and talk about. All right, before we go ahead and keep going here, we just hit 3,000 subs on the channel, which I really appreciate, by the way. We're growing at a crazy good rate. If you are new and want the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumors, subscribe. Help us get to 4,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. So go down below and hit that red subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, we move over to the Big Ben comments to Albert Breer in the Monday Morning Quarterback on SI.com. So Big Ben, of course, as we just talked about, is entering his final year of his deal, and there is plenty of uncertainty. And we've talked plenty about the uncertainty of Big Ben's future here on the channel over the past couple of weeks. I think the expectation, if you were to ask people around the league, is that he's going to retire after this year. But as we'll read, and what he told Albert Breer is that he hasn't officially decided on what he's going to do or when he could possibly go ahead and retire. Here is the quote from Albert Breer, who was asked about this in a podcast, and he said, quote, Well, we're with the Steelers. One thing I couldn't fit into this morning's column, I did ask Roethlisberger if he knows how much longer he wants to play. I don't, he answered. I always take it 1 year at a time. What's most important, I want to give everything I have to this season because this is the most important season I have. This, for what it's worth, is the final year of his contract, end quote. So not a lot there. I mean, this is something that, we talk about because it's newsworthy and it's Big Ben news because, again, what happens with Big Ben is going to be a big determining factor in the Steelers' 2022 and beyond football seasons. But I'd be shocked if Ben doesn't retire. I think that needs to be put on the record here on the channel. I'd be shocked unless the Steelers are like one play away from the Super Bowl, and he just feels like if he comes back for one more year, they can win it this in 2022. I just don't see it happening. And of course, they won a Super Bowl this year, which they're very capable of doing. Then he would definitely retire right off into the sunset. He's not going to pull a Tom Brady because Brady's the only quarterback really in recent history who would win a Super Bowl and not retire. I think Peyton Manning a couple of years ago. And so I would be shocked if Ben doesn't retire. I would expect him to if I was a Steeler fan, and that means this training camp and these preseason games are going to be a very important indicator for Steeler fans whether they think Mason Rudolph or even Dwayne Haskins has it in order to be QB1 going into 2022. If they don't, then maybe you draft a quarterback to be Big Ben's replacement here early in next year's draft. Again, very far away in the future. We're not going to know about Big Ben's until, way later on this season, but something to keep an eye on, of course, because the rumor mill continues to churn because it's Big Ben, it's the Steelers, and the Steelers have been very consistent in their quarterback play ever since Ben took over. It's been Big Ben and nobody else, and so we, of course, want to know who's going to be the quarterback, but Big Ben to Albert Breer, no real indicator on what's going to happen there, and that's honestly, probably the right answer for Big Ben at the moment. Okay, training camp, again, is starting. Officially, you're going to get practices going tomorrow, and players are reporting today. How hyped are you for the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being you're not hyped at all, which is very strange because you should be, or 10 being like, let's go, like training camp is officially here. I'm pumped. I know you guys are as well. Give me your hype level down below right now in the comments section. All right, we have to address this because it's been in the news a lot this past week, and that is the vaccine levels of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I know is I don't want to talk about this, but either way, a couple of things here. First off with Najee Harris. Najee Harris was spotted at training camp when the rookies report a couple of days ago wearing the infamous yellow wristband, which you see on the picture, I think behind the quote coming up here in just a second, where essentially it says that he is a non-vaccinated player, and so I don't know, it's like a wristband of shame to stay away from him, which is really weird, but either way, there was now a new report from the Post-Gazette, though, did mentioning not only the Harris situation, but that the majority of players on Pittsburgh are vaccinated, which is good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward. Here was the Post-Gazette on that, quote, when 70% of players have at least started the vaccination process, that number is believed to be much higher with the Steelers, even though Harris wasn't the only player wearing a yellow wristband during the weekend. By all accounts, Mike Tomlin has been very persuasive when it comes to vaccines. That's because he knows there is a competitive advantage involved, end quote. That's the picture you should have seen behind the quote there with the little yellow wristband. People make this all political, which we're not going to do here on the channel, but Najee Harris has the right to do whatever he wants, and I think that he probably will eventually, or he's just going to not do the vaccine and go through the very strenuous, I should say, COVID protocols that, of course, are in place via the NFL for unvaccinated players. So I don't see this as a big deal. A lot of people are, though. The question about the vaccine is are you vaccinated? They ask in press conferences. To me, is getting a little bit old here. It's like if most of the players are vaccinated and you've already had the COVID, what are your antibodies levels? It's a whole different slippery slope that we can go down. I'm not worried about it, and I think that Najee Harris is not worried about it either, but it is something to go ahead and definitely keep an eye on to see not only what Harris will say, because some reporter is going to ask him this question. Obviously, they're going to get in front of the media probably in the next couple of days. I'm sure Tomlin will talk soon, but I don't know when Harris is going to have his first open media session, and then his response to it, and then I'm sure other teammates will be asked the same question. So this is going to be a ongoing thing, and we've talked about it here on the channel with the whole vaccination, rules in the National Football League, but I'm not worried about Harris. I don't think you guys should be either. It's his choice, and he probably will either way. I think most NFL players, and they already have, but the majority of them will go ahead and do it at some point. All right, ultimate for today here on our Steelers Talk News and Rumor video. Before we go, again, make sure you guys are subscribed, because not only do you get in on our mailbag video, if you ask a question down below, #Steelers, you also get, of course, up-to-the-date content that we always post here on the channel, which is a ton of content. We're really ramping up our videos here on the Steelers Talk channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed, and make sure you guys go ahead and use the #Steelers down below to ask a question. So let's go down below, #Steelers, Thomas, here's my question, blah, 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 and then more than likely I'm going to pull it for our video on I think we're going to do a video probably either Friday or Saturday. It's kind of towards the weekend, the end of the week, so we can do our mailbag videos. So get your question in now. I'm going to start looking at them and compiling them today, and so the faster you get your question, the better chance you have of having it answered. Again, ultimate for today on our Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumor video. I am your host, Thomas Mott, as we go ahead and sign off. Happy training camp day. Enjoy Twitter, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and just sit back and enjoy the fact that Steelers are back. They're in training camp and ready to go. I'm pumped to know you guys too. Again, I'm Thomas Mott as we go ahead and sign off as you guys enjoy the rest of your day.